Welcome. You just heard that the meeting is going to be recorded, so we're doing this obviously for people who can't join us this evening, but you'll see that message just pop up on your screen. So just to let people know, just click on got it and then that message will disappear. So welcome. You've already had that full welcome, but welcome to this particular session, which is around marketing and sponsorship. You're going to hear from 3 different presenters this evening, not myself, but 3 special guests we've got. We'll also importantly have time for a Q&A at the end. So if you've got a burning question, which you really want to answer, pop it into the chat and we will pick it up, but we won't necessarily answer it at the time. We'll look to come back and just review it and ask that. But if it's something you can wait, then please wait. But if not, you think, well, I'll ask that now, then pop it into the chat. First of all, introductions. My name is Martin Woodward. I'm Club Business Manager. I work in the Clubs and Communities team. My role is supporting clubs nationally with a variety of off-field matters. So I'm helping host and I'll help do the wrap-up. We've also got Patrick Hill with us. Patrick is one of our club developers from the Midlands area, so some of you guys may already know him. Patrick's just going to work in the background. He'll be monitoring the chat with me. He'll also just help out if anyone's got any tech issues. So if you want to write anything down in the chat, or I always think that's a strange one. If you've got a tech issue, you probably can't get into the chat. But if there's anything you want to know, just pop it into the chat and Patrick will keep monitoring that. He'll also launch the polls. We've got a few polls tonight just to keep you engaged. And as you've seen, it's going to record the session. So we're delighted to have expert speakers with this evening who are going to talk about 3 areas: sponsorship, digital marketing, and traditional marketing. And they'll explain a little bit more in detail about what those are. The guys are part of a larger team who are working closely with us on the sponsorship and marketing elements of this exciting club governance and business operations projects, which you've heard about already. So who we've got joining us tonight? We've got joining us from Liberty Marketing, specialist digital marketing agency. We have their creative lead, that's Philip Woodward, no relation to me, in case you've seen my name. We're no relation whatsoever. We've also got from Orchard Media, who are an integrated marketing agency. We have head of creative campaign services, that's Ed Cullen. So Ed, give us a wave, lovely. And last but by no means least, we have from Orchard Connects, who are a specialist sponsorship agency, director of strategy, and that's Tom Bainton Williams. So these are our 3 speakers, and I'll hand over to those in a moment, and then we'll take you through. So the team we've assembled to support you, not only tonight, but throughout this project in terms of the wider support. They work with several companies, and they range in size and experience, including volunteers and grassroots organisations, right way up to large organisations and brands. So these guys are very, very experienced across a number of things. Plus, they also work with a number of clients on helping them upskill and coach people and learn. So they come with a sort of double-edged sort of facet, really, where we've got the best of both worlds, because not only do they know about it, but they also work with people about upskilling them. Anyway, that's enough of me. So without further ado, I'm going to hand over to Phil. And Phil will then take you through his slides, and I look forward to chatting to you later on this evening. Thanks, guys. Phil, over to you.
Amazing. Thank you very much, Martin. Let me just share my screen, and hopefully this will be the first hurdle of the evening. Working through. Beautiful. That's good news. Yes, like Martin said, I'll be talking about social media and digital marketing for the next 20 minutes or so. Just kind of starting to give a little flavor of what we'll be doing over the next few months. Some of the work that's been done so far, and kind of talking about what we've got planned. As a kind of brief little syllabus for the next 20 minutes, I'll just kind of introduce myself a little bit and the project, and kind of hopefully get to know some of you a little bit more as well. I then kind of want to chat through a few digital stats, kind of key bits of information that I think are really interesting at this point. And I also want to talk through what we are calling our learning pathways. So within the social media and digital marketing aspect of this, the really kind of key issues that we want to tackle, that we want to help you all with, and really get to the bottom of. So kind of chatting through those different learning pathways, what we're seeking to achieve with this project. And And a big part of that as well is what we're calling your kind of social media club toolkit, which I'll kind of chat through at the end as well, which is essentially at the end of this project, giving you something that you can take, run away with, work with your teams on, and hopefully do great things with your social media and digital marketing. So yeah, just a kind of little introduction to myself. I'm Phil. Like Martin said, no relation to him, no relation to Clive either, or at least so far as I'm aware. I've been working at Liberty for more than 10 years now. I started off my career way back when in kind of sports journalism, working in that kind of sphere, but then I kind of quickly moved in kind of copywriting, digital marketing, and that sort of things. And my role at Liberty is pretty varied. I kind of work across a lot of our kind of creative projects, whether that's content writing, social media, digital marketing, anything kind of creative and wordy is kind of my bag. But I also do a lot of the kind of training and consultancy projects, such as this one. So yeah, in the past, worked with people like Sports Wales, Swansea University, as well as kind of smaller startups as well. So yeah, a really nice variety of stuff going on. But yeah, that's enough about me. Just kind of want to get to grips with you a little bit. So I'm kind of keen if you can use the poll function, which I'm reliably assured will pop up very soon. Kind of keen to get to grips with kind of who you all are, and when it comes to this kind of social media side of your rugby club, what is your role kind of typically? Are you kind of the day-to-day doer, so the person who is kind of getting hands-on kind of with your social platforms, writing everything, scheduling everything, taking your shots, all that sort of stuff? The kind of you George Ford, you Owen Farrell. Do you kind of tend to kind of edit and proof and kind of lead what people are doing and kind of make sure that everything's working, but not getting your hands too dirty, but still kind of getting in and when you do it? Or are you more that kind of overseer, whether it's you kind of newly appointed like Steve Borthwick, or have kind of been at the helm for a very long time? Yeah, so that's quite nice. So kind of seeing more around the overseeing side of things, as well as yeah, a couple of doers and editing and that sort of thing. Just trying to check on my rudimentary maths to see if, yeah, that is 16. Good news. Lovely stuff. Cool. Yeah, that is a nice mix. But I think the fact that it's primarily overseers is kind of hopefully quite encouraging for what we'll be doing and the toolkit that we'll be able to create for you guys. So yeah, so why digital marketing? Why is it so important? Why are we so passionate about it as an agency? And why is there so many good things that can be done within the RFU? Social networks, you kind of won't need telling too much, are huge. As part of this project, we've done a really big bit of audience research using one of our kind of audience tools to kind of get to grips with rugby fans. So we have essentially surveyed thousands of rugby fans to kind of see their various kind of trends and values and behaviors and that sort of thing. And as part of this research, we found that more than 90% of rugby fans use at least one social network, and more than a third use more than 5 social networks. And that is every week, I believe. So it's like, yeah, obviously kind of huge numbers using this stuff. And then also kind of a bit more broadly as well, social media is a great way to get to grips with people, to kind of speak to them nice and specifically in a way that understand them. And that's a really kind of big part of how people communicate with brands these days as well. So yeah, people really need to feel like they understand a brand. So yeah, so why digital marketing? There's a few different reasons that we're kind of doing this. A lot of it is around kind of the awareness around your club. Digital is such a great channel now for making sure that people are aware of what's going on around your club, and getting as many kind of eyeballs on our various activities, whether it's match day stuff, whether it's community stuff, whether it's trying to get more players or volunteers, anything that's around the kind of awareness side is so important. But then digital as well offers us so many options for understanding who our audiences are and kind of how they react to specific bits of content, what they find important, what they care about, what they don't care about. All of that is kind of part of creating that really great community that connects you with your audience and goes from there. All those are kind of nice airy fairy things as well, but digital obviously has really important kind of real world kind of bottom line benefits as well, one of which is kind of helping with the sponsorship side of things. Obviously the gurus at Orchard will be chatting through a little bit on kind of that sponsorship side of things, but the two do go hand in hand, really. If you've got a really effective digital marketing presence, if people are engaging with your stuff online, if you've got loads of followers checking out your content and kind of following you and all that sort of stuff, that is going to help the sponsorship side of things, helping to kind of make your case to sponsors too. And of course, when you're doing digital right, then it means that you're being really efficient with your costs, that you're kind of driving revenue wherever you can. And that's kind of what this project is all about, really, just helping you keep those costs to a minimum while trying to make us help you make as much money as possible. So yes, that kind of leads us to our second poll of the night. Why do you want to do better digital marketing? Are you kind of concerned with the sales side of things? Are you looking to kind of sell more merchandise, sell more tickets, sell more tickets to the next race night or whatever it might be? Are you looking to just be more efficient with the way you do things? Do you want to speak to audiences more relevantly? Do you want to be more visible in the community? Fantastic, thank you. Yeah, seeing those roll in now. That sounds good. I should probably say as well, this is certainly not an either or thing. We're looking to kind of achieve all of these things. So yeah, don't worry about having to choose one over the other. But yeah, it's a really nice way to kind of get a snapshot of where you guys are heading and kind of what you're all thinking and that sort of thing. So that looks fantastic. Thank you.
Phil, I'm just double checking that folks can actually see the poll on their screen. So if you can't, just pop something in the chat and we can sort of talk you through that, just to make sure people can see that. But I can see we've had 18 participate, and as you can see, 67% being more visible in the community, 50% speaking to audiences more relevantly, and 22% selling more merchandise, tickets, or things related to social events and so on. Cool. But if anyone does have any problem with the poll, then just pop it in the chat and we can talk to you out of the way. Thanks, Phil.
Beautiful. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, forgot about that. Thank you. Amazing. Yeah, and just kind of to talk through the kind of the social demographic side of things. So like I said, we've done a little bit of research around who rugby fans are kind of across the country, who they're likely to be, how they behave, that sort of thing. And one thing we did, we looked at the demographics that different social media, the different rugby fans are using on social media. We basically asked, or we looked at a question that was saying, what's your favorite social media platform? And this graph shows that basically. So it's very interesting. So Facebook is it's the dominant social media, but when it comes to younger people, it's very much not. You've got the likes of Instagram, you've got the likes of TikTok, you've got kind of Pinterest, even like Reddit is really interesting and popular with younger people. And yeah, kind of basically as people get older, they're more likely to go for Facebook and spend more time there and prefer that. And I guess this is kind of just a way of kind of thinking that, making sure that we are thinking of different platforms for different things and for different audiences. And that's one of the key things we'll be looking to develop through this project. A nice little meme that kind of colors that point pretty broad, but makes the point. And then also, as well as the kind of age split as well, we're able to see of the kind of the two different genders, what platforms they're likely to use other than others. You can kind of see the different splits that are going on. You can see that Facebook is the most popular, but slightly more popular with women rather than men, whereas kind of men more likely to be on LinkedIn, on Twitter, these sorts of things. Yeah, all these sorts of things just help us start to build an understanding of kind of who rugby fans are, but also the differences between the different social platforms and how that can inform the strategies that we'll develop later down the line. And then alongside the demographic side of things, we also done some research into why people use different social media platforms. And I find this really interesting as well. So basically the leading, I won't kind of make you read all of this, but each platform, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, people basically have different reasons for using those platforms. Twitter, they're most likely to want to keep up with news. TikTok, they're most likely to find entertaining or funny content. Instagram, they're looking to share videos or photos of themselves or of kind of people they engage with. Whereas Facebook is more of a platform for messaging friends and family. So again, just kind of another way of showing that social media is not a homogeneous mass. There are, yeah, different platforms going on where we can talk about different things in slightly different ways. So third poll I think it's the third of three for me. When it comes to digital marketing, what is it at the moment that you kind of struggle with the most? Is it communicating effectively with your fans, members and stakeholders? So whether that's kind of knowing who they are or how to speak to them in a way that they'll understand. Is it kind of keeping on top of your team? Whether that's people who are kind of employed in your club or are volunteering a couple of hours a week, a couple of hours a month, whatever it might be, kind of keeping hold of them and managing them and making sure everyone's aware of what's going on. Or is it more the kind of sales side of things? Yeah, making sure that you're kind of trying to maximize sales from your site or your social channels, or something else. If it is something else, I'd be really keen to see in the chat what that might be. Amazing. So as the I quite like commentating as the results come in. So communicating effectively is kind of the most popular at the moment, with just over half of you going for that. Maximizing sales, 20% going for that one. And then a couple going for managing a team of marketing employees or volunteers, and then a couple for something else as well. And that is, I think, full participation. So that's great. Amazing. Thank you. That's really helpful. And again, as per the previous poll, not an either or situation. And this is actually, yeah, something that does feed into our learning pathways. And basically, when we've been planning out this project, we really want to kind of get to grips with some really core elements that we want to work within and help everyone kind of develop their skills and their understanding on. So yeah, so basically we've got 3 broad learning goals from a digital and social media perspective over the next few months. So we want to help people at your clubs and other people at your clubs to be able to communicate effectively with your fans, members and stakeholders. We want to help you manage your kind of marketing employees or volunteers a little bit better if that's necessary, and also help you maximize sales through your website. And I'll basically just kind of chat through those 3 learning goals now. So yeah, in terms of communicating effectively, a really big part of that is knowing who your audience is and getting to grips with your audience and understanding the different people that are kind of within your typical audience. So a big part of that is what we call personas. So personas are typical audiences in that like your club, that visit your club, that pay money within your club. So there'll be a little project helping you kind of identify the different types of people who watch your rugby club, or who buy things from your rugby club, or who play at your rugby club, even going from there. We'll help you understand how to communicate to different stakeholders on a regular basis. So essentially creating a content plan, a nice consistent content plan of good, reliable, enjoyable, informative social content that kind of is what people are looking for. And then also understand how to experiment with social content creation. So it's kind of, showing best practice when it comes to creating social content, ways to kind of, to play with it and experiment and do things better, always kind of improving every day, every month. And when it comes to managing your marketing teams or managing your volunteers, this part of the project, we want to help you understand and identify the best social channels for you and your audience and your club's goals and what you're looking to achieve, and the best ways to communicate with your audiences. So the audiences that we've developed in from the previous pathway, we kind of want to say, okay, what are the best social channels or platforms that that's right for your club, and how can we change what's going on at the moment? We want to talk through your tone of voice, so effectively how you speak on your social channels or on your website, or even in your other marketing materials as well, to kind of stay nice and consistent, but again, speak to users and your audience in a way that they're going to understand and they're going to love. But also, understand KPIs and metrics, so whether things are working, whether things aren't working, and what to do if they are or if they aren't, and helping the people within your teams to populate that information and get to grips with it, so that you don't have to be keeping a day-to-day eye on it if need be. And then from a kind of sales and kind of slightly more digital perspective as well, we really want to kind of give you some opportunities, give you some ideas that you can help you kind of make more revenue from your website, from your social channels. So whether that's kind of improving your the layout of your websites, or how they funnel people, how they speak to people, just helping with those kind of basics that can help to make your website and your social channels more efficient and cut costs. Also, there's lots of different ways that we can speak to new audiences, that we can let new relevant people near to your club or relevant to your club know about what you've got going on, whether it's matches, whether it's merch that you want to sell, whether it's social events you've got coming up, whether it's stuff you're doing in the community you want to tell people about. There are ways to put a little bit of money behind that and speak to people in relevant ways without breaking the bank as well. And then also we want to help you kind of understand the analytics side of things as well. So giving you the help and giving you the guidance that you need to see what's happening on your website, see what's working, see what's not, and develop your understanding from that point of view too. And kind of as part of the project over the next few months, some of the things that we'll be doing will be, we've basically been very busy writing a load of resources at the moment, which are giving you a nice broad array of information around those 3 learning pathways, around social media, around digital marketing, which are currently being created and will be with you very, very soon. There will also be in the next few weeks and months some webinars. There's a webinar, I believe, on the 9th, Thursday, the 9th of February, and kind of supplementary video guides as well, to talk through specific areas, specific methods and creative ideas and that sort of thing. This is basically an example of one of the slides we'll kind of chat through on the 9th, kind of analyzing really good social content, kind of working out what it is that makes it good, how it can be better, all that sort of thing. If we do have Cornish Pirates on here, then bravo, you've made it to my example slide. If not, maybe I'll use one of you as well. And then also, where required and where available, there will be kind of one-to-ones with our social and digital team to kind of give you very specific insights and specific help with elements of the learning pathways as well, where is needed. And this is all kind of, it all builds towards what we're calling the social toolkit. And the social toolkit, in a very basic sense, is just a big spreadsheet, a big Google spreadsheet. And this is one that we've created, but it's one that will be going out to you, going out to all clubs who want it. And essentially is there to give you the structure and give you a bit of a strategy for your social media activity. So there's loads of kind of different elements of this that we will work with you throughout the learning pathways to populate and work with you to kind of get an understanding of your kind of social strategy and how you want to go about and how you want to develop and that sort of thing. So yes, we'll help you kind of create a social strategy. We'll help you document your target personas, so who you want to speak to. We'll help you work out how you want to speak. We'll help you plan your content day to day, month to month, help you set roles and responsibilities within your team, and also, put in any data that you want to as well. All of this is basically on this Google spreadsheet that you can fill out, that you can own, that you can show to your team. Whoever needs to see it, you can kind of own it and be the master of it. We're here to kind of help you develop that basically and help it be as good as it possibly could be. And that, I believe, within 1 minute over, so which I don't think is too bad at all, I think. So that is the social and digital side of things. I will now pass you over. I will stop sharing my screen so that Ed from Orchard can talk you through all the beautiful stuff when it comes to the traditional side of marketing and branding. Thanks, you,
Phil. Thanks, Phil. If I look scared, guys, I am, because I'm not good with Zoom. So I'm instantly in fear now that I can share my screen and it works. So bear with me, guys. Let me just click on this and then click on this. And then if someone could give me a little... Thank you, Martin. I knew I could rely on you. Thank you, sir. So nice to meet you all, guys. So thanks, Phil, for that. Yeah, so traditional marketing and branding. Basically, Phil talked about digital. Tom will talk to you about sponsorship. This is everything else. So so I thought I'd start by introducing Orchard and add a little bit of credibility to why you should listen to us, to be completely honest. So it's a little video. I really hope that, let me just check up here actually that my thing, share sound, yes, it's on. Right, there we go. So this is just a quick video, guys, to show you a little bit about us and what we do, if it works. So that's that. You would see that there's a bit of Welsh in there, and my accent as well. I'm not going to talk about rugby at all because I'm very scared about how badly Wales are going to do in the Six Nations. So I'm going to move swiftly on. But yeah, we are Orchard. As you see there, we're well-rounded and fully integrated agency. But this is what every agency has a strapline. But the one I really want to pull out there is the commercial impact. We're going to be talking a lot about branding and traditional marketing, but some of it can get a bit theory and can get a little bit artsy. But everything we do and everything we want to talk to you about is all rooted in that commercial impact, actually moving that needle for you guys to either get more fans, more money, whatever you want to achieve. It's all about that commercial impact. And I mentioned that we are a fully integrated agency, and this is, as you saw by that, we deal with events, experiences, digital innovations, content, communication, media buying, and everything above. So when I said we're picking up everything that isn't digital and sponsorship, that's why, because within Orchard, we have the expertise and we deal on a day-to-day basis with many elements of the marketing experience. You might notice there as well, and I might as well bring it up just in case some of you are eagle-eyed. You see that Orchard Connects, which is where Tom's going to talk to you about sponsorship. So they are part of Orchard and a division of Orchard. And yeah, so just in case some of you are eagle-eyed and spot that, that's where Tom's going to be talking to you a little bit later. And then, you know, again, every agency has this a little sort of, you know, let's plant some logos on a slide, but really, hopefully it shows that we've got a broad spectrum of clients from all sectors and all sizes. And then I just thought I'd pull out some sport ones as well to show that we work in many different sectors of sports, so not just rugby with the WRU and now the RFU, but also with football in the Premiership, the Ladies Premiership. We actually did some work when the Champions League came to Cardiff, so we were one of the major partners on that. Worked with the Olympic Games when it was in London, which was very cool, and the Commonwealth Games that just went past. So all types of sport, be it events, be it football, rugby, cricket, golf with the RNA. So yeah, we've got that sort of well-rounded knowledge, and I suppose the big thing about that is we can, I was going to say steal, but borrow experiences from other sports that work well, because there's obviously a crossover. I want to pick up one other thing on this slide, because Martin said it in his introduction. I wanted to add it to this. We obviously put the sort of big, sexy, big names on there, but I don't want anyone to be going, oh, we're not as big as Liverpool or that. You know, we work with all size companies. Like, I can't emphasize that, you know, this is just the glory parade, isn't it? Look how great we are. But literally, it's every size company that we can work with and help. So yeah, although it's impressive, it's not the be all and end all this. And another thing that every agency's got, awards and credentials. Everyone's got it, so it makes it absolutely meaningless. But yeah, hopefully all I want to do with those first slides is go look a little bit about us as Orchard, but mainly being completely honest with you, trying to gain a little bit of credibility of why should you listen to me? Why should you listen to Orchard? Why should you give up your time as well in the one-to-ones and so forth? Why should you give us your precious time? So hopefully we've done that a little bit, as much as I can do in all of 2 minutes. But what are we offering you? So if we've got credibility, the next thing is what are we offering? And like I said, there's many different size clubs on this call. I really like Martin when he said to introduce yourself, give us a flavour of that. And there isn't this one size fits all approach. And through the one-to-ones and the different touch points that hopefully we will have with you and your individual clubs, we will look at bespoke advice to you and what you need. So some of the things that we will be discussing, so these are the broad things that we could discuss, is things like club proposition and branding. So how your club proposition is much wider than what goes on the pitch. Is a saying in marketing, that's a given. You know, what you guys do on your pitch, your fans will love you because they love your what you do on the pitch. We're talking about everything around that. So what can you have to be clearly defined and articulated, to understand that when they see a brand, when they see a color, when they see a tone of voice, which Phil was talking about earlier, they instantly get that's you. And a clear set of concise and clear USPs, unique selling points. Understand them, because if you understand them, you can sell them, you can market them. But, you know, taking that step back, what are we proud of? What are our USPs? So we'll be discussing that with you. And just using, you know, tried and tested principles. They're tried and tested because there are reason that they work and there's a reason for it. And helping you create your own club proposition and identity through various different things, you know, and there's some bullet points there, you know, customer demographics and experiences, SWOT analysis, competitor and industry branding, what your competitors doing, learn, borrow, improve on that. Cross-channel consistency. You'll see a lot of same terminology and quite a lot of the things we'll be saying are the same with both myself, Tom and Phil. The reason is because this is what you need to be doing. Your tone of voice should be the same what you're doing with me as what you're doing with Phil, and the tone of voice of what your sponsors all want to hear about as well. So it's all joined up. We can talk you things through brand questionnaires, asset management templates, fan engagement questionnaires, so on and so forth. This is really just about a flavor today. And then the creative and content creation. So this is all based from understanding your audience. And again, you know, I refer back to what Phil was saying earlier, is understanding the audience allows you to sell to that audience. And it's the same with traditional marketing as it is with digital marketing. And it is about that consistency. Consistency is key, guys. It's a bit of a cliche, but it's very, very true. And this, refer back to it, we aim to support you as clubs, regardless of your resources available to you, your budget levels. There's always something you can do to aid and enhance your brand awareness. And we cover topics like understanding those tools that are available to you. You might not even know you've got some. So uncovering those. Talk to you about content planning. What are those quick wins? Like, what can we do? You know, because in one meeting, uncover something that will make an impact straight away. So identify those quick wins and implement them. And then really sort of going through that exercise of making you understand and know your brand and what that tone of voice is. And then about the channels and the comms channel and the marketing channels. And again, we've talked about knowing your audience. That's part of it. But it's the right audience at the right time in the right way. So, you know, who are they? What are you saying to them, or when are you saying it? These are key things. And if you get those three things right, it's absolute gold dust. And we'll offer guidance on helping you through something called channel selection, how you split your budgets across that as well. And also practical tips on how to plan and buy media if that's something that you want to do. But ultimately, it's in business, it's the most banded round term. It's all about getting that ROI. So if you're spending £1 with whoever, how can we make that turn into £2, £3, £4, and so on and so forth? And we'll discuss things like how best to maximize the packages from these media partners if you're using them, how to evaluate and measure. You know, being an agency, this is what we have to do is get onto these media houses and really sort of get that data from them. So we'll be showing you and telling you and explaining to you how you can do that, and because they're not always forthcoming with it. Setting your marketing and advertising budgets. Again, if that's 100 quid or 100 grand, you still have to set those marketing and advertising budgets. Where's the best place to spend that money and get the most bang for your buck? Short-term versus long-term goals. Brand versus activation is very jargon. I'm sorry, guys, but this is the world we live in, is all bloody jargon. The brief. So if you are briefing in these media houses, how to do that? So, you know, the who, what, where, why. Setting objectives, SMART goals, setting KPIs, so on and so forth. I'm not going to read bullet points because all of you can read, I'm sure. And the last one, negotiate with media owners, understanding where to pitch it, not taking that first price. What is where you should be pitching this at as well. So that's that little bit about comms and media channels. And then I wanted to put this slide in, guys, to show you that traditional media and new media, well, we obviously taking digital out of that because, you know, Phil's already gone through that with you. So traditional media is what you already know this, guys: TV, radio, newspapers, out of home. But there's this new element as well of new media. So basically moving it towards that digital sphere. So with TV, just to pull out one, there's something called Sky Ad Smart, which allows you to geographically target, to demographically target. So you can literally do you can buy BT Sport, rugby fans in your area. Cuts through a lot of wastage and then saves money as well. Digital audio does something very similar. So back in the day where you buy your local radio station, now people are making a big shift onto things like music streaming, Alexas and Amazon hubs. Sorry if I've set yours off in the house, but that doesn't live in what we call analog. So if you bought your local radio, that wouldn't sit in that sphere, but you can buy that through digital audio in a much more reduced revenue. And then out of home, it's digital out of home. So again, you don't have to, do the whole sort of paper and paste billboards. You can do digital out of home, which again, you can buy demographically, geographically, you can run more than one copy. So there's the media spectrum has moved on, and some of you might be more au fait with that. And it's really choosing what's best for you. And knowledge is power. I love this. You don't know what you don't know, the most ridiculous statement ever. But knowledge is power with things like, for instance, I mentioned Sky AdSmart. To bring you back there, if you've never done a Sky campaign before, they don't advertise this, but you can go to Sky and Sky will give you your first advert for free. So if you think of how much most people's barriers to TV is, oh my God, I'm gonna have to spend 40 grand on making a TV ad. Don't need to do that. If you go to them, this knowledge of power. We can tell you the things, the places and the avenues to get that. And you can get a Sky campaign for £1,000 that will run for a couple of months for you. So you might be sitting there going, I don't have huge budgets, but it's about maximizing those budgets as well. And there we go. Not asking the correct questions to unlock hidden value and achieve the best results. There you go. I wrote it better 2 days ago than I've told you today. Then we talk about, media is about branding. I touched on it, but branding is about coming up with that identity, but maintaining it. And that's the big thing, guys. So part of my role is to head up the creative team in Orchard. And a lot of time people will spend six-figure sums on us to come up with brand identity, brand guidelines, these beautiful documents, and it goes in the top drawer and they never use it again. And it's all about maintaining that consistency all the way through. And trust me, that's what we'll be talking to you. You don't need to spend those six figures, don't worry. But you know what I'm saying? It's about once you've got them, use it. Let it become your Bible. This is how you talk to your audience. And this is how you say it, what it looks like, what it feels like. That consistency is key. And the last bullet point there, this may be a little bit arty and theory, but I started off this whole talk of mine by going, it's all about commercial tangibility. And honestly, that is what we're about. It's pointless having the best brand in the world and you're bankrupt a week later. This is all about what can we do with your brand that will make you more money or get you more fans or achieve that goal. Because unless we're doing that, we're just making lovely, pretty things that do nothing in the commercial world. So just to reassure you that's very much where our head's at. This is theory. This isn't theory. It's practical. These sessions, if we do have these one-to-ones or however that touch point will be, it's not going to be like this. I promise you, it's the last time I'll just talk at you. This is about sort of how can we really get into your DNA and give you practical tools and practical things that will help you. And I put on here, we're here as in, the three guys, the three speakers and our organizations are only here for a relatively short period of time. It's about that legacy and that empowerment piece. What can we leave you with? What can we impact you with now that you will pick up and move forward with and grow your clubs long after we're gone? I put this in just for really, it's an inside joke with Martin, because when we had our first conversations how many months ago, I used this analogy about, give a man a fish, eats for a day, teach him how to fish, never hungry again. But that generally, it's a bit of fun, but it's true. And if we can leave you with, which Phil mentioned earlier, we'll be doing the same, is this sort of toolkit. That's one part of it. But if we can impact even 1 or 2 or 3 things within your club that you do for the next year, 5 years, 10 years, it's a real win for us, because it will just live longer than when we're firmly onto the next one. And just like the last slide from me. And you notice there was no polls because I was scared that I'd muck them up. So that's why you've had no polls. But the key takeaways for me are, this is shaped by you. This is why these one-to-ones and this sort of human interaction is going to be so important, to understand what you need. This is practical, not theory. Pragmatic approach to influence commercial success. I've hammered that enough, guys, so I don't need to say that again. About that different marketing mixes that are out there and the different options. Don't let budgets stop conversations. Don't go, oh, I haven't got this much money, so I can't talk about this type of media, or I can't go down that road. Let's have those conversations, because we don't have any skin in this game, as in, it doesn't matter to me. I don't get my agency kickback if you buy this or that media. We can have those honest discussions, go, yes, that is possible, or you know what, let's park that. So let's have that, and don't let them stop the conversations. And yeah, we're here for a good time, not a long time. Yeah, so we're here, you know, we're limited, like I just said, to the time we can be involved with you guys within this project. So look, the RFU are putting us out here. We're here for you. Take it up. Take these sessions, upskill, and just take your club to another level, and use us, basically, is the last thing I'm going to say. So that's me. Now I have to figure out how to unshare, and then I'll hand back. So is that unshared, guys? Oh no, hang on. Have I unshared? Tom, is it over to you?
It is over to me, I think. Yeah.
I can stop having my internal panic attack now that something's going to go wrong. So there we go. Over to you.
Is that? Can you see that? Is that Martin? Are we in?
Can't see your video just yet, Tom. We can now.
Perfect. Okay. Yeah. Thanks, guys, and thanks for all your time this evening. Start quickly. My name, as Martin said at the beginning, is Tom Bainton Williams. I lead the sponsorship strategy and consultancy team at Orchard Connects. That is, that I spend time working with sponsor seekers, really, and helping them with their commercial endeavours. So lots of sponsorship plans, valuations, evaluations, that kind of thing. I would like to say that I am English, so I'm looking forward to the Six Nations. And I think we'll come on to a little bit more about Orchard Connects and some of the work that we've done. Again, Ed mentioned it around credibility, but what I'd like to do is start with a poll, if I may, really just to get a sense of your own sponsorship program. Clearly there's potentially a number of different revenue streams, but just looking at how sponsorship itself fits into your club. Obviously, looking at a whole host of things, you're looking at branding on shirt through to hospitality, and I can see the poll is, as expected, very important at the moment, which is great. I think I'll leave that on for a little bit more, and again, I suspect that's why a lot of you are here today. But in some cases, you know, other revenue streams are crucial for clubs, but just wanted to check that's sponsorship one. I think if there's, I don't know if everyone can see the screen, but it's 100% 18 out of 18, very important, which is obviously great. Secondly, would like to understand if you are a dedicated sponsorship contact or lead. Clearly, I'm guessing a number of you have a number of different remits at the club. So just to understand, you know, how you're resourced and whether it's a sort of a main focus for you, really. Be good to know that as well. I don't know if the poll is up on that.
Oh, just launched it.
Oh, here we go. Great. So most of you, it looks like you are the lead contact, and it's perhaps not something, another part of your remit, which again is great to know. So we're 71% yes, and or changing now, 67% yes, 33% no, which is good to know. Let's move on. So what I'd like to do is have a bit of fun, really, and just sort of demonstrate the power, certainly, of high profile sponsorship. So we've got 3 or 4 examples here of well-known sponsors. I'm hoping sort of that we've got 4 that you'll get sort of 3 or 4 of them, but really just to demonstrate that, again, that association that a brand might have with England. Clearly just a bit of fun. There's no polling or quizzing. I'll work on my technical expertise and look at how we can do a proper quiz, but you'll recognize the England shirt, and that is obviously O2. Hopefully you got all that right. Second one, a little bit of fun again, looking at the All Blacks Clearly, they've had a number of sponsors over the last years. Clearly, the O2 partnerships has been a long-established one. New Zealand have had a few more. Hopefully, most of you would have got Alltrad. And then moving to a domestic one, looking at Harlequins. I'm sure you recognise the shirt. This is a deal that I brokered, so I'm hoping that all of you got this. Again, long-standing relationship with DHL. That deal's been in place for about 10 years, 9-10 years or so. So looking at long-term deals and the importance of that and the recognition of that. And then finally, perhaps a slightly more tricky one, looking at the Fiji 7 shirt. Again, Fiji Airways, just to demonstrate that power. And clearly a number of these brands, it is for them very much around brand awareness, getting eyeballs on TV and in media. But what I'd like to talk about through now is really just my own perception, entrenched in some facts and figures around sponsorship. And I think there is, it has changed massively in the 20 or so years I've been working in it. I mean, it was very much brands would enter sponsorship for the brand awareness, often hospitality in rugby, and those are the two sort of key value drivers and the key currencies. But sponsorship has changed a significant amount, particularly in the last 5-10 years, to become an all-encompassing sort of multifaceted proposition. Not just at the elite level. We do a lot of work at grassroots sport as well. I worked at Sport England for 4 or 5 years, and also involved with a number of clubs local, and a number of the benefits that are listed in that second paragraph we do see at sort of the grassroots amateur level. So looking at things like sales, product showcasing, demonstration, digital content, which obviously the guys preceding me talked about fairly heavily, staff and client entertainment. I mean, their hospitality is key, but also looking at clever ways of using assets, so access to the players, access to your clubs and venues, so bars, and entertaining staff and clients in that regard. Team building and training. A lot of sponsors now might, particularly at a local level, look at recruitment as a proposition, and there are many more. I thought it was worth just touching on, I'm sure it's a question that a lot of you have, particularly the impact that COVID has had recently. Clearly massive sort of impact on the industry. I think there's some research run by a company called Partner on Purpose that interviewed about 100 or so people, brands and rights holders in the industry, and 93% of those said that it did have a major impact on their sponsorship, whether a brand or a rights holder, most saying that it was becoming hugely challenging with the tightening of budgets. I think industry suggests that up to 19% reduction on marketing spend on average, so clearly a big impact. That said, we're experiencing now a huge number of positive elements from the pandemic, and it's pushed a number of things sort of to the front of the industry. That third paragraph there, looking at social purpose, is a massive area at the moment, whether that's environmental or very much in this regard looking at communities, and brands becoming champions of local communities. So often is a major opportunity for brands and organizations in your area to partner with you guys for the good of their social purpose and CSR program. I think sponsorship, it has been tough, and I think even at that sort of elite level, it is much harder than it was. That said, deals are still being done, and we're still really busy. We're doing deals. I'm sure you and your competitors will find the same, that deals are being done, but we're all having to work that little bit harder to get them over the line. So that's partly why we're here, to help you to build those sponsorship programs, not just in terms of bringing new brands and sponsors to your clubs, but also looking at ways that we can get further value from existing partners, and looking at that long-term sort of vision, if you like, rather than the sort of the short-term tactical element. So we are here to help. Just to touch on it earlier, Ed mentioned that we're part of the Orchard Group. We are based in Cardiff with Ed as well, but I'm based in London. We have an office in London, and we've got consultants throughout the country. Fundamentally, we pride ourselves on the creativity and creating powerful partnerships. So we work with rights holders, sponsor seekers, and brands. The rights holders range a huge amount from Glamorgan Cricket Club, Watford Football Club, through to a number of different charities. So we work with Special Olympics. We do a lot of work with councils, sort of non-sport, so looking at, again, more local community-based elements. We are a relatively small team, 5 or 6, but very experienced. All of us have got 15 or 20 years experience, and that covers all areas of sponsorship as well. So digital, sport, which is my main area, the arts, environment, sustainability, huge number of areas. Overall, we've got 75 odd years of experience and a track record of its success, again, from that elite level right through to sort of grassroots areas. So in that regard, we understand the sort of the challenges that are faced at that level, particularly around resourcing and promoting opportunities. We also, across the board, our team are involved in amateur and community sport. I myself, don't judge me, play hockey, and I'm very involved in that, supporting the club with finding sponsorship in that regard. So again, have a significant amount of experience in that. Just to touch on some of the work that our consultants have done, I alluded to earlier, I worked at Harlequins for 5 years, was involved, led the sponsorship charge, looking at getting DHL and a number of others on board. Done a huge amount of grassroots work with Sport England, was very involved with This Girl Can, which is the Sport England programme around women's sport and promoting that. A couple of other examples there, some charity, obviously through Special Olympics, Welsh Netball we work with, I mentioned earlier, but I do a lot of work with Surbiton Hockey Club, which is my local team. So a big range of brands, not just at that elite level, but again, very much at grassroots and amateur. The guys touched on sort of our objectives, specifically regarding sponsorship. We're here to provide help, provide expert guidance and support regarding to your sponsorship program. Again, looking at the future, not just in terms of new partners, but how we can enhance existing deals and also existing relationships. So whilst we're not here necessarily to bring sponsors to you, it's very much working very closely with you in a number of different guises, which I'll come on to, around how that happens structurally, and how we can, really hopefully change thinking if things aren't working, and also help with things that are. Working with you to provide all kinds of templates, examples, including, as the guy said earlier, toolkits, videos, and also face-to-face sessions, and really empowering you to build that sponsorship program. Again, we understand the resource, so we can be really flexible in the work that we do, in terms of your own timings and the amount of time that you have spent, that you can spend on that. So just to bring home exactly the work that we're doing, and it's very similar structure to the guys that preceded me. We're just in the process of finishing a very comprehensive guide to sponsorship, which has 12 or so chapters, very much focusing on getting the structure right, building foundations, looking at the assets that you have, and how they can become sponsorable or more commercial, through to prospecting and what to look for when you're doing a target list, the sales process itself, so picking up the phone or emailing from the first instance right through to contracting, helping with building templates and contracts, and crucially, I'm sure most of you will ask, looking at financing and what the pricing and how to go about providing a fee for sponsorship and some of the work that we do in that regard. A lot of what we're doing is providing you with templates, so sales presentations, sales deck templates, which you can use and adapt for your own purposes, and also crucially looking at giving you some example contracts and agreements to help with that. and ultimately making, in some cases, your whole sponsorship program much more professional. We are looking at group sessions, so this will be taking a number of you together that might have a shared number of different themes or issues or topics you want to discuss, looking at some of the challenges you might be facing and providing best practice examples of how to work on that. I think crucially, as actually to mention, go back to the toolkit, it's very much looking at providing you with tasks and examples of best practice as well. In this instance, there will be as well. So very much task-based, working with you to look at best practice and improve what you're doing. And then finally, in terms of the work, looking at one-to-one work sessions, which will be much more tailor-made to suit the needs that you have, spending a lot of time with you, sort of, again, obviously on a one-to-one basis, talking through the processes that we go through, working with you, and again, looking at identifying some of the challenges and hoping to help you overcome those. And once again, the content will be truly unique to you and your club needs. So, in summary, touched on the sponsorship industry at the moment. It remains still quite tough after the pandemic, particularly, but also you only have to read the paper with what's going on around the world and cost of living, etc. That said, I think the positive is that sponsorship has this emotional power and emotive power to work and for brands to be seen as champions, particularly looking at that social purpose bit, not forgetting the brand awareness, hospitality, sales, other areas that we can look at, and deals are still being done. Be good to spend some time talking to you individually about how you're finding it, but certainly it's in an upward positive trajectory. We're here to, as Ed said, to help. We can be very flexible and help support your own individual needs, and we want it to be as easy as possible for you to access and use us. And ultimately, it's about maximising your sponsorship potential and how we can help with that to deliver a stable and consistent revenue stream. So I've said any questions there. I don't know if you want to put any questions in chat, and Martin, I don't know if you want to look after them if there are, but that is it from me.
Cool. I'm very conscious of time, guys. There's a couple of questions gone into the chat, but basically I'll just restart my video. So if you've got anything, pop them in there. But just for the last couple of minutes we've got, and if we don't answer it now, we will come back and answer it. There's some really good points been made in there. Just come back to, are the one-to-ones free? The one-to-ones are invitation. So if you've gone through the health check assessment and it's been identified, then there's a likelihood that it could be you've been contacted about that, but it does vary on the club. If not, then the workshops are available, and the workshop program will be published shortly, and you'll be able to book onto some of the workshops. In terms of the other clubs' sponsorship and so on, Russ, yes, there's a number of materials already on englandrugby.com, both on the YouTube channel. I'll pop that into the chat. So the RFU Club Support YouTube channel has some really good sort of examples of what we've done. We've done a few pieces in and around the sponsorship world and a number of other topics as well. Actually, it's not just that area. And so there are some really helpful videos in there. I'll just pop that into the link now. You can see them, and there are some good examples that have gone on. So I'll just pop that in there. Russ, I think as I've spoken to local clubs. Russ, I'll come back. I'm not quite sure what you mean on that one in terms of local clubs, but I think you mean it at various at the grassroots level. So that you'll see within the YouTube channel, there's information there, and that is built around feedback that we've had from conversations we've done on previous seminars and previous workshops through COVID and so on, and we've built up that sort of experience of what people are looking for, and it's a very comprehensive piece of information. And Elizabeth, in terms of the time frame, you mentioned that time frame is pretty much we've got until the end of this season, really, in terms of the time we've got with the guys. It's a short period. It's a short injection of support from where the funding comes from to help this program. But we'll obviously want to make sure that we've got a legacy piece in terms of resources that are available to come back to and for you guys to use and continue using further down the line. But in terms of specific bespoke support, it is a short period of time we've got through the money from Sport England. So we've come up to 8 o'clock, guys. We will share the presentation. Please do share it out. If there's anything that you see further on, we'll follow up with an email as well. Please do get back in touch with us and so on. Basically, anything we can't cover off, we will go away and find answers for. And there's been some interesting suggestions which we'll take a look at as well. But as you can see, there's a significant amount of support coming in at this point in time across this area and other areas. We're delighted to have these guys on board in terms of industry experts who can really share best practice and really understand and get to the nub of how these areas work and function, and give you little nuggets and top tips really to sort of just supercharge the work that you're doing. So we'll leave you to the rest of the evening. Thanks ever so much for your time throughout the whole evening. It's been great to see you all, and look forward to catching up with you in the webinar if you do join us on February the 9th on social media marketing. So thanks very much indeed, guys, and take care.